Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Jessa Jeremiah. We have a very exciting show for you today. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to talk high school football. We have special guest James Beek, and we're going to check in with our news partner, the Boys and Girls Club. And first, we have a lovely guest joining us, Lisa Stearns, who joins us from Cool Beans Coffee Cafe. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're very excited to have you, and I'm excited to learn about your coffee place. It sounds like a very neat spot to go in East Madison there. So talk to us a little bit about Cool Beans and just sort of what sets you apart from other coffee shops.
Well, we've been around for 13 years. We're on the east side. I would say we're probably the only local coffee shop right now. That there has been a few that have come and gone, but right now we're pretty much in the land of chains, and so we're, I'd say, locally owned. It kind of sets us apart there.
Excellent. Yeah. And we spoke about that just briefly before we started, but I think it's nice, especially in Madison area. We love, supporting local businesses, and we love our chains occasionally too. But when we have the opportunity to go to a locally owned spot that is unique, we love to do that.
Right.
So, talk to us a little bit about some of the unique spaces in your coffee shop.
When I first opened, I was a mom, and I wanted to have space for moms to come besides always having to go to McDonald's or some of those other places. So we have a kids' little play area and a kids' seating area, and so moms can sit and have coffee and the kids can play and love it. We also have a patio and then a sandbox out there also for the kids. We have a fireplace, a nice atmosphere. And then in the back, we have a conference room that I wanted to be able to close off, and so people could reserve it. And so we have business meetings, we have wedding showers and baby showers, and book clubs and things like that.
Very good. So you've got some sort of cozy spaces, spaces for kids, which is always important, and then a nice meeting room for folks to come to. Lots of great little areas, it sounds like, which is good. Talk to us a little bit about the coffee and the food in particular. What sort of makes that unique?
Well, when I started, there were a lot of coffee shops and cafes, but I felt like there wasn't back then. There wasn't a place that had really good coffee and really good food. It was, if they had really good coffee, their food was so-so, and if they had really good food, their coffee was probably so-so. So I wanted to bring both of those together so that people could come and have like a coffee shop coffee drink or really high quality coffee, but also really high quality food. So we're not a bakery, so we don't bake our pastries and stuff, but then we go to a local baker and they bring them every day fresh, so our bread comes fresh every day and our pastries. And then we have soups, salads, sandwiches, everything's made to order. We bake our chicken for our chicken salad, and we just try and do everything as fresh as possible. And
that's wonderful. A lot of times it's tough to find a coffee shop where you can really get a good meal, to your point. And not only can you get the pastries, but you also do some heartier menu items, fresh, ready to order. That's great. As an owner, what would you say, do you have a priority as far as running this business goes?
Yes, I'd say our number one priority is customer service. I want people to feel better when they leave Cool Beans than when they walked in the door. So I try and impose on all my employees, that doing the extra little thing, if it's helping them bring their drink to their table, or just engaging with them. We have a lot of regulars and just trying to make their day brighter by giving them excellent service. I feel like you can do things, quality product in a timely manner, but it's that personal connection or making them feel like you're glad they're there.
Yeah, it's nice, especially when you're talking about a coffee shop and a locally owned spot, to kind of feel at home and feel comfortable and all that stuff. Let's talk a little bit about your clients. Who's your customer?
I'd say we have a wide range. We have the moms with the kids, so we have that segment. We have students that come in that like to study there because we're close to MATC, and we have business people that come in and work on their laptops or meet a client there if they don't have a home, or if they have a home office. It's a nice place to meet. Business meetings in our back room, and then it's just a great place to meet friends and sit and have a cup of coffee or a meal.
Wonderful. So a wide variety of folks can come enjoy the space over at Cool Beans. Well, Lisa Stern, thank you. We've enjoyed having you from Cool Beans. Go check her out over on the east side of Madison. And coming up after this, please stay tuned. We have a very special interview with James Beek. Stick around for more Talk of the Town. Hey guys, welcome back to Talk of the Town. Actor and father James Beek has recently taken on two important new roles. He's started filming the new series, CSI Cyber, and he's become the face of a new campaign, encouraging families to learn the facts about influenza prevention. He joins us now, along with Dr. Peter Leckman, Medical Director at Northwestern Medical Group Pediatrics. And they're going to talk to us a little bit about dispelling some myths about the flu and let you know what you need to know this flu season. So welcome, Doctor, and welcome, James. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh yeah, we're very excited to have you, some very special guests for us today. Now, James, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, we want to talk about influenza prevention, but we cannot help, of course, but ask about your new role. So tell us a little bit, give us some details on CSI Cyber, if you would.
Yeah, it's the latest installment in the CSI franchise. It's Patricia Arquette and me. But it's all about cybercrime. It's about online hacking, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a new story. It seems like every day now about somebody hacking into something. So this takes the CSI approach to all that. It's kind of CSI 2.0, and we just started filming, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing that, and we're excited to have you back on screen. And
thank you.
In addition to taking on that role, you have another important role at home as dad of 3 youngsters, I understand. So talk to us a little bit about how has that changed you, and in particular in relationship to your recent additional interest in the flu.
Yeah, well, I mean, influenza prevention and vaccines and all that was something I never really thought about until I had these tiny little humans that I had to protect and take care of. And last year, 2 of them got the flu while my wife was pregnant, and it's just no fun at all. And so I did some research on the flu. One of the reasons I think I was afraid to give my kids a vaccine was I was afraid that it could actually give them the flu. Turns out that's a myth. You cannot get the flu from a flu vaccine. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized just how debilitating the flu can be. I was kind of shocked to learn that it's responsible for the hospitalization of more kids than any other vaccine-preventable disease. It's responsible for 44 million days of lost productivity, $10.4 billion in medical costs. And so I thought, this is something people really need to learn more about, or at least learn more than I knew. So I teamed up with FluMist Quadrivalent, which offers a nasal spray flu vaccine, which covers 4 strains of the flu. So there are no needles involved, and it's definitely it's an option out there that I felt people needed to be aware of.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great option, and shocking statistics, honestly, to hear you say some of those things I wasn't aware of. Doctor, let's get to you for a second here. In your professional medical opinion, what are some of the myths that are common to the flu, and what do you think is the best course of action for folks out there?
Well, I think the best course of action is for everybody, from children through adulthood, to get vaccinated against influenza. That's by far the single most important thing we can do to prevent ourselves and the people around us from getting ill with a very serious illness. The myths we hear are similar to the ones James just mentioned, that flu is just a common cold, and flu is not a cold. It's an illness that's responsible for many deaths every year. It's responsible for serious illness, fever and chills, and keeps people out of work and kids out of school for days and days at a time. So it's nothing to be trifled with. We hear a myth out there that the flu vaccine can give you influenza, which it absolutely cannot. People think that there's only one form of the flu vaccine, that there's just a flu shot, which is the one that has been on the market for a long time. But really, for the last more than a decade, we've had an intranasal flu vaccine, which is called Flu Mist Quadrivalent. And that's, like James said, a vaccine that's squirted in the nose, so there's no needle for the kids. It cannot make you sick, and it actually has 4 strains in it. So the old flu shot had 3 strains, and there's still 3 strain vaccines on the market. But some of the flu shots and all of Flu Mist Quadrivalent protects you from 4 strains of the flu. So it's important to talk to your healthcare professional about which vaccine they're recommending and which one you're getting, and really try to get the one that has all 4 strains when it's available.
Wow, okay. Well, that's important for folks to know, and I appreciate you guys sharing that there's options out there as well, in case I'm sure there's a lot of viewers at home that aren't aware of that. Now, do you have a video, and where can we see that and get some more information?
Well, I made a goofy little video. If you want something that's not too serious but has some facts in it, that you can watch on youtube.com/insistonthemist. But there are some other websites a little more official, like the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. That's at cdc.gov/flu. And then more information on Flu Mist can be found at www.insistonthemist.com.
All right, well, we'll do just that. We'll go there and check those out. And James Vanderbeek and Dr. Peter Leckman, such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will be right back after this with more Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We get to check in with our news partner, the Boys and Girls Club, and we have Greg Dobies, who joins us from the Creative and Performing Arts Program, Kappa. I'm going to call it that or is it Kappa? Can I say that?
It is Kappa,
okay.
yeah.
I feel in the know calling it by the letters.
Well, it's short. Say Creative and Performing Arts Program.
Creative and Performing Arts Program.
You know,
yeah, wonderful stuff. I'm excited to talk to you about this. First of all, how long have you been with the Boys and Girls Club?
I've been with the Boys and Girls Club going on 2.5 years now. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it's been a fun ride so far.
Okay. So we've really enjoyed having you guys on, and I get to learn something new about the Boys and Girls Club every time you come. So I didn't know you had a Creative and Performing Arts program. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's interesting you say that because most people don't know that we do have our Kappa program. And it's one of the many programs in the city, that involves all of media arts and creative and performing arts. So we have dance, we have photography, video production, music production, a whole gamut of creative and performing arts all kind of rolled up in one. And we also have like the state-of-the-art recording studio, so the kids get to come and the teens get to come and write their own songs. We have a full dance studio. We have a full media and production where they learn how to do, Photoshop and a various host of digital technology.
Very fun stuff.
Yeah.
I want to come. Is there an age limit? No, I'm just
Come
kidding.
on, dude.
Sounds like tons of fun for the kids to do. Do you think there's maybe a couple favorites in the program that the kids enjoy most?
I must say, it is hard for me to walk in the building because the kids are so excited when I come in. They all want to come in, to the recording studio or the dance studio, and so between those two, those are probably the most popular is the recording studio and the dance studio, but they have a blast. The teens are really, they come in and get engaged, and it is really an exciting job to have, you know, especially when you have that excitement from the kids.
Absolutely. What a special program to get a chance to be involved in, and how impactful for the kids to have the opportunity to get exposed to some of those things and be interactive with those things.
Yeah, and we have top professionals. You know, we have our photographer. She's a professor at Edgewood, and you know, our program is award-winning. We won an award this year for the digital arts program with our music program. They sent us to LA. You know, so to have this program fairly new and to do, you know, some of the outstanding things that these kids are doing is great.
Well, congrats to you. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And important too. And I'm sure, you know, hearing this, there's viewers at home who are wondering how maybe new kids can get involved in a program like this. How do they do that?
Well, you just have to be a member. So come down, fill out a membership form. You know, we do have an event coming up on the 27th of September in Sun Prairie to engage anyone that's interested in joining the Boys and Girls Club and being a part of our program. That's September 27th in Sun Prairie from 6 to 9 for teens. We have games, swimming. We have a poetry open mic kind of a thing. We have some performances from Sam Wright, who won the digital arts performance this year, and we have a DJ for the kids to kind of jam out and have some fun.
Lots of fun.
Hey, that's what we're about at the Boys and Girls Club.
You sure are. It sounds like a blast. I love it. Any other important information that you want to share about Kappa before we go?
You know, it's the fall year, you know. It's all about academics. You know, we have a full curriculum. It's not that they just come and play. There is a curriculum, and they learn very important skills that are going to catapult them, you know, early on in their career if they choose to, you know, choose performing and creative arts.
Absolutely. Very exciting stuff. So remind me, September 27th.
September 27th at Sun Prairie.
Sun Prairie. And we can find out more about the
Go
Boys
to
and Girls
our
Club.
website, bgcdc.org, for any additional information.
You said that flawlessly, by the way. Good job. BGCDC.
Boys Girls Club, Dane County.
Got it. Perfect. Sounds good. Greg Dobie of the Boys and Girls Club and Kappa Creative and Performing Arts Program.
Yes.
Great information. Thank you so much for joining us.
Glad you had us.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Stick around. We do have more Talk of the Town coming up after the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Joining us now, we have Travis Wilson, who is our sports news partner, joining us from Wisconsin Sports Network. We're going to talk high school football with Travis. Welcome. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Excited to have you. As we've had you now a couple weeks, we get to catch up on high school football. Let's talk about week 4. All right, Middleton versus Madison La Follette. Middleton had a win, so great for them, but they have a big game coming up as well, don't they?
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier this week. Last week they had a nice win over Madison La Follette. Their defense came up big in that game, and they're going to be tested once again in week 5 in a game at Sun Prairie. Battle of the Cardinals, a game that you know is really always one of the best games on the Big 8 schedule. Their defense is going to have to come up big again against that Sun Prairie offense that includes All-State running back Noah Diaz. It's another test right away for the Cardinals.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing what happens. I'm sure you will tell us next week. And we talked injuries a couple weeks ago. So it sounds like Edgerton got one of their players back. How did he do in his return, in your opinion?
Well, he did quite well. Ricky Williams, who was the state's leading rusher last year, a couple weeks ago we talked about how he had missed a game, kind of surprisingly, with an injury, but he came back full force this week, rushed for over 300 yards, and seems to be right back to his old self, which is good for Edgerton for sure as they try to defend their conference title.
All right, and we talk with you a lot about offense. So obviously we want to discuss defense as well. It's critical to the game. Any defensive performances that you really felt stood out in week 4?
Yeah, you know, there was quite a few around the area. I mentioned Middleton did a great job in that game, in that win over Madison La Follette, but you got to like what Columbus did in a game that they won 19-0 over Nakusa last week. held Nakusa to under 50 total yards in the game, obviously got the shutout, and one of the better performances that we've seen defensively in the area. And like you said, sometimes the defense gets a little left out when we start talking about top games and teams and players, etc., but always got to give them a little bit of a shout out here too.
Absolutely. And we obviously talk a lot about who wins and loses in these matchups, but score is important too. So anything that stood out to you last week from a score perspective?
I was watching scores roll in last Friday night and, saw a lot of the Badger Conference and Big 8 scores roll in, and I saw one that really caught my eye, not because of who won, but because of what the score was. DeForest beat Baraboo 6-0 in overtime. DeForest is a perennial power. Baraboo has struggled the last few years, and that meant that DeForest and Baraboo went to overtime tied 0-0 heading into overtime. So for DeForest to have to go to overtime and get just a 6-0 win over Baraboo was surprising. It kind of made me do a double take when I saw that score roll in, because sometimes, like you said, the score itself is as surprising as who wins and loses.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So overtime did the trick. Let's talk Stoughton for a second. So they've kind of come up as, sort of a surprising team as far as where we are so far this far in the season. So do you think, your opinion, does Stoughton have staying power?
I think they do. They're off to a 2-0 start in the Badger South Conference. This is a team that hasn't been to the playoffs since 1998, and that was their only playoff appearance in their school history. Been very close the last few years, right on the cusp, and just haven't been able to close the deal. They got a 2-0 start so far, including a very nice win last week over Fort Atkinson. Have a tough schedule left the rest of the way, but I think they've got a very good chance to end that lengthy playoff drought.
Very interesting. Well, we'll have to keep a close eye on Stoughton, and we'll keep getting your professional opinion as the season unravels here. Now, we're just a few weeks in, so we've got several games under our belt, but we've got a lot to go. What do you think as far as playoffs are concerned? Is it too early to start thinking about playoffs?
Well, that's the thing about high school football in Wisconsin. It's really never too early to start talking about playoffs. For one, football is different than other sports in that not all teams make the playoffs. You have to earn your way in. There's only 224 of around 407 teams that actually get into the postseason, and that's based on your conference record, how you finish in your conference. And so these conference games that we're talking about early in the year really are magnified, really take on increased importance. And actually, we already have some teams that are playoff eligible, not necessarily here in the Madison or South Central area, but in the northeast part of the state. After week 5, we'll have a whole bunch of teams that are playoff eligible. Janesville, Craig, and Middleton out of the Big 8 can clinch playoff spots. Stoughton, who we talked about, can become playoff eligible. Milton in the Badger South. So the playoff picture is shaping up, even though we're just starting to turn past the halfway point of the high school football season.
Interesting. Well, it's fun to start thinking about playoffs and who we might see there, and you're our expert, so we're going to check in with you. And how can folks find out more? You're with Wisconsin Sports Network, so website, best place to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Should be a daily destination, really, if you're a high school sports fan. WisSports.net is the website. We have all kinds of basic information, scores, schedules, stats, all that good stuff, but also all kinds of news and insight from myself and our team of writers to get you up to speed on what's going on in high school sports. Again, make it a daily destination. You can follow me on Twitter as well if you'd like, @TravisWSN. Provide all kinds of good information there as well.
All right, so if you want to be an expert like Travis, check out the website or follow him on Twitter. It was a pleasure having you, Travis Wilson, Wisconsin Sports Network, our sports news partner. We'll have you back.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, and thank you for watching. That's it for us for Talk of the Town. Please join us next time.